strategy, the task cards approach for a powerful brain, okay? In particular, I would like to share about how to grow life skills in young learners, okay? Life skills in young learners. Well, first one, I'd like to stand up together with this teacher on the picture and ask you a few questions. I'd like to think for a minute about the last time you had trouble to organize all your stuff, all the stuff you had to do in a given day, particularly during Christmas rush. Can you think back about Christmas rush last year? How good were you at organizing all your tasks you had to run before Christmas on that Friday, the 24th, I think. Yes. Okay, think about it. So that was my first question. How good were you at organizing your tasks to do in that December the 24th? Okay. Did you feel okay with that? Or did you think it was kind of, you could be better at it? But let me tell you, that has to do with time management. Okay, time management. Question number 2. When was the last time you had kind of an issue in your classes with all this trouble with going back to school, not going to school, having to do hybrid lessons, and then it was hard for you to accommodate those last-minute unpredictable situations, to the point that you kind of lost your temper? Can you remember one of those days back in 2021? Well, let me tell you, if you kind of remember, that has to do with flexibility. And I'm not talking about muscles, I'm talking about the brain capacity towards flexibility. Question number 3. When was the last time you were in a conversation and suddenly you got in trouble with someone else because you said something you were not supposed to say? Or you said something in the wrong moment, or you chose the wrong words? Well, let me tell you, that has to do with another mental possibility, another mental capacity called metacognition, your self-monitoring capacity. And question number 4, when was the last time you got in trouble because you completely missed the point at a crucial explanation they gave you? They gave you instructions to do something and you missed the point. You did not pay attention. And we call that mental capacity, sustained attention. Well, today's topic has to do with these 4 and a few more concepts that are specific skills in our brains that in a way they come with us, but science has proved that there are things we can do about them. When we do things in time, when we repeat actions, when we acquire habits, when we learn new things, what we are doing is putting neuroplasticity in action. And because neuroplasticity is a reality in your life and in your students' lives, then we have the capacity or the possibility to learn new things. So we teachers, we should thank neuroscience and the nature of our brains of being neuroplastic, because we can devote our lives to teaching. Yes, so learning and neuroplasticity are very much connected. Learning is a consequence of neuroplasticity. And from there, I'd like to briefly remind the group about the 3 brain systems that operate within the big organ called brain. What is the direction of any stimulus coming in? The moment someone says hi, or whenever you smell something delicious, or when you feel your feet are really hot because of the sand on the beach, What is the direction? We start in the instinctive, then we go into the emotional system, and last, the stimulus gets into the cognitive executive system. So that yellow arrow pointing up means that every stimulus comes in through the instinctive system. That's why our reactions sometimes we cannot control, like, wow, why did I act like that? Okay, now good news. If every stimulus comes in bottom up, I should tell you that the way we process an answer towards that stimulus, luckily, is not bottom up, but top down. So the arrow pointing down basically means every answer that you give through speech, through face, through your hands, whatever answer you provide to the other person, to the environment, is processed from the cognitive system down. And this takes us directly into today's topic, life skills. I was commenting the other day about the tendency to call this life skills as well as power skills. Have you heard the term? Power skills, life skills, 21st century skills. Where do they come from? Well, in our brains, they have a special place. What is that place? Well, the cognitive executive brain contains, in that frontal part of our brains, in our foreheads, contains what we call the executive functioning skills. I've shortened it into executive functions, but in English we prefer to say executive functioning skills. Now, which are they? Which are these life skills, in order to give them a simpler name? Well, some time ago we designed some material at the association, and there are different authors that propose different classifications. We went for these 10, out of which I already gave you a few examples. Do they naturally develop? Well, in the first place, we should say that science has proved that they come by default. As whenever you think of a computer, we're about to buy a computer. Do computers include some sort of RAM memory? Yeah, it comes by default. Same thing happens with life skills. They are part of our brains, okay? Approximately at the age of 5, as you can see here at the bottom of our chart, some of these functions start taking shape, okay? Of course, they are with us since we're born, but at the age of 5, we start little by little, these functions, these skills start taking shape, but they will not become totally mature until well after 22. That's why we call it 22 plus. And researchers say today that almost 30, the age at which these capacities, these life skills become mature enough. As you can see, the broken line, functional level, is a lower type of behavior in some brains. Why does that happen? Brains that have not been receiving systematic training with their life skills. So for those brains who get very little support, family, teacher, social context in general, the broken line represents their capacity at the age of 8, at the age of 12, 16, 20, so forth, so on and so forth, okay? So the task cards approach or strategy goes like this. Number 1, a set of cards is designed for each life skill or each executive function, depending on the interest you have. Say, for example, you decide that for month 1 in, say, March, back in school next March, you decide you want to start focusing around attention, okay? In order to mention one of the skills. So we need to choose one of the life skills in the first place. Okay, you will notice as I show you the examples of the task cards that each card should include a problem to be solved by the student, a problem solving focus. This is always beneficial because it kind of appeals to full engagement on the part of the student. So including a problem that the student has to solve. Now, if you put that problem into the form of a question, that's much better. You will see my examples. They take the form of a question. Questions are always good because they are appealing. They are appealing to the students' capacity of self-questioning, self-asking. Okay, and in a way, when I'm asking a question, I'm not suggesting the answer. On the contrary, I'm giving room for the student to create the answer on their own. So I hope you can see the benefit, okay, of this form. And then number 4, the problems chosen should come from the child's school context, or the child's the child's closest area, okay, or context. All right. So these 4 elements should be considered at the moment of deciding what and how to give shape to the task cards. All right. We have number 5. They can be adapted for younger children. So in the first place, once I have all these previous conditions established, it's important to define as a group, together with the students, what we understand by a specific life skill. So I will show you the cards, and what I want you to do is look at the question, and we'll see number 1, as I have described them before. Notice how it includes a typical problem that might come across the life of the student. It has taken the form of a question, and it tries to touch the immediate context of the student. Okay, so now we have the question. Probably what we would need to do is to make it simpler, or in simpler language or simpler structure for younger learners. That would be one way to adapt it. So notice, number 1 says, you know you're angry and want to confront a friend. What should you do? You are raising your hand in class to share, but the teacher isn't calling on you. What should you do? Well, I think I have another example here. We're not going to solve this one. What are some ways you can take a break when you are feeling angry or upset? In this one, I'm suggesting a strategy, but I'm putting it in the shape of a question. What I would like you to do now from the strategy is to help me think, please help me think of 4 different ways in which you would adapt this task cards approach to young learners, or very young learners who don't know how to read or write. I brought another one here. I brought attention, sustained attention. Remember, it's 10 of them on the booklet that I presented. And so we could do the same thing here. Attention, first I need to decide with my students, what do we mean by attention? This is sustained attention. How can you tell when you've stopped really focusing on something? Of course, for younger kids, we can simplify the question. Okay. And then another example. What does it mean to stay focused during a class lesson? Okay. So the advantage of deciding on the class on specific problems, specific questions for every skill is that you're devoting time to that skill through the main the most powerful tool that we have, verbal language in human beings. Why? As I said at the beginning, because we know, because of studies in neuroscience, that for every situation that comes up in life, the answer is provided from the cognitive brain towards the rest of the system. So it's something that we need to think in a way. Okay? Now, I don't want to put you to trouble again and make you think of new situations or new cards, but it's not that difficult. Once you get to see some examples, other examples will easily come to you. Probably not on a Friday afternoon after the entire year has finished and we're now just rounding the first week of the new year.
Hi, this is Professor Joaquin Triandafilide from Comunidad Neuroeducas. If you found this video appealing in any way, remember we're soon starting with our Diploma in Teaching English to Young Learners. When is this starting? April the 20th, 2022. So you can contact us for more information. Send us an email to info@neuroeduca.cl or check the comments below the publication of this video and you'll find the link to the file with more information or how to enroll. See you then.